hotel bed, it was like a game. Like you put 20 cents in the machine of the bed and the bed would vibrate around in a circle. And on their wedding night, they put the money in this hotel and it got stuck on. So the whole night they just vibrated.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Life Uncut. I'm Laura.
I'm Brittany, and this is Ask Uncut, where you're writing your deepest, darkest, burning questions. We do our darndest to answer them.
Yeah, I really did enjoy last week's one about pubes, the pube fetish.
Oh,
I was
they're
listening to it again last night and I was like, that was a great question.
The styling. Did
Yeah.
you think about styling yours maybe?
I don't know. Nah, I gave it a trim. We're back down to nothing.
How did you give it a trim?
I felt inspired. Oh, look, I'm not
Matt
saying...
got the hedge clipper out.
I am not saying that it is it's well done. I have no idea how patchy it is. No one's seen down there for a while, but at some point soon, my obstetrician is going to look down there. And so I was like, at least I should try and figure out what's going on.
Isn't it funny?
It's a feel basis at the moment. It's
But
not by sight.
Why do women do that when we're like, oh, we're going to a doctor or we're going to someone that could see it, like we need to trim it and style it? And why do we do that? Like it's just pubic hair.
Totally. My obstetrician does not give a fuck.
No fucks.
Zero.
You don't think he's going to be impressed with your mohawk? You're like, what do you think? Short back and sides.
Pretty sure I still would have a hairy crack anyway. I couldn't reach everywhere.
Laura, why is your obstetrician looking at your crack?
Well, don't they see everything? When you're giving birth, they see it all. Like they'll see.
Yeah, but your obstetrician appointment's not fingering your crack. He's not like, let me see what's happening. I don't know where you go. Sometimes I really worry about you. Your obstetrician, is he in like a back room in a dark alley with flashing lights, neon sign?
Baby looks great. Anyway.
Well, I'm here.
Look, something we did talk about the other week on an Ask Uncut episode, you guys might remember. It's probably the only thing that I brought to the podcast this year, so I thought I'd bring it back up. The thirsty hamster. If you missed it, it's a new sex position that's going viral. When I say it's going viral, there's been a few media outlets speaking about it.
Yeah, it's definitely not viral.
It's definitely been spoken about on TikTok. Has anyone ever tried it? Unsure. Until now. So just to kind of set up what it is in case you missed it, basically the way the thirsty hamster works is that you have to get your partner or whoever has the penis in the relationship to lay on the roof of the car. Now, this only works if you have a sunroof.
A convertible or a sunroof.
No,
it's very niche.
It doesn't work if you have a convertible because how are you going to plank on that, right?
No, because you've got convertibles that are only like 3/4 and stuff.
Yeah, so imagine those Dickie sunroofs that like a lot of the cars have these days where it's just like a cutout square.
You didn't even intentionally do that.
So
Dickie.
Lay on your Dickie sunroof with your Dickie out through your pants.
Dickie through Dickie.
Popping through the sunroof, and then the person in the car has to give head to the person who's laying on top of the car.
It's the dumbest, I'm sorry, it's the dumbest sex position. Also, the neck pain that the person that is in the car sucking, like that is not a comfortable position.
No, it's terrible. I wasn't recommending it. I was just having a laugh about the visual. And the reason why it's called the thirsty hamster, obviously, is you know how when you have like a guinea pig or a hamster or does anyone in Australia have a hamster? No.
Do you know it's illegal to just have one?
Hamsters.
Yeah.
Only in some countries.
Yeah, Nordic countries, the countries that care more.
That's wow.
Because they get lonely.
Oh, you also couldn't do the sex position with only one either. To be clear, you don't actually need a hamster for this because that would be illegal.
That's also bestiality.
So you know how they have like rabbits and guinea pigs and stuff have that water bottle with like the little metal tube and then they go up and they drink out of it. So imagine the penis is the metal tube. There we go. There's the visual. We brought it up. It was funny. We all had a laugh about it. And the consensus on this was that who on earth would ever try it? And let me tell you, one of our true blue lifers who is she's here for us.
She's doing the most.
She really did. She came through with the goods. Well, she's written this. Hey girls, true lifer here. The last ep said to write in if anyone has tried the thirsty hamster. And I'm here to say that hubby and I were laughing so hard about this on the pod in the car and thought, fuck it, let's try it just for the lols. And it was honestly the funniest thing ever. And also some feedback. Your head has to be completely back like The Exorcist for it to work.
Yes, my point. It is the most uncomfortable thing. The person up top just gets to lay down.
I love how it's like hubby and I were laughing. Yeah, of course he was laughing. He's like, so funny. We should try it.
Yeah, let's try something else. Let's try it again and just to make sure.
I wonder if it's possible.
I do.
Turn the engine on so it vibrates.
I have more questions though. Like, where did you do it? Were you parked in the garage?
Yeah,
were
they're
you
not
parked
doing it on the main street.
We just pulled into your driveway. Like, where were you?
Nah, you're in the garage. It's public indecency. You can't just fuck on the street. You're like, Life Uncut told me to do it. Like, that's not going to fly when a policeman pulls you over.
I reckon worse things have happened. Anyway, look, let's get into vibes and unsubscribe so
Do
that
you
way
know
we can answer your questions.
There's a number of people that have gotten in trouble from giving blowjobs driving in a car because they've been caught on camera, like phone camera.
I think that that's like a really young person thing. Like, I feel like you do it when you're in young love. Like, I don't know any.
When you're less risk averse.
Well, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like.
Definitely heard some people dabble.
Brett's like me when Ben was here. He's only here for short periods of time. No, but I feel like it's one of those things that everyone attempts when they're in like their early 20s
Totally.
and then you get old and you're like not giving people blowjobs while the car's going.
Or ever. Just like never.
Matt is like, what do you mean when the car's going?
Matt's like, what? Matt's like, what's a blowjob? That is so funny.
Oh, I laugh too hard because it's true.
Poor Matt. Maybe you need to give him one.
No.
Just for like, I don't know.
You bending your neck back like that to do the thirsty hamster while you're pregnant. That's too many,
I
too many
couldn't do
angles.
it with my neck Botox.
You tried?
No, I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to hold my neck up to do it. Yeah, I'm not giving that one a go.
All right, let's get into vibes and unsubscribes.
Okay. I'm going to start with my vibe because it's probably the most boring.
Should I go then?
No. It is a product and it's something so niche, but I think a lot of people will benefit from it. I don't think it actually has a name, but we're calling it the phone cord holder.
Are you right?
No, because it's like this really niche. You can just get them on Amazon. You can get them from anywhere. They're really cheap. It's an organizational tool. So they're like these little stick-on round like adhesive things that can go anywhere. So the idea is they hold your phone cords. So if you've got 100 cords behind a lounge or something.
Oh, yeah, I have seen these. Yes.
Yeah. So like, I mean, you've Googled it, but like they just stick on and it's got a magnet. It clicks your cord in and it holds it up high. So if you've got like cords, for me, for example, in my lounge room, behind my lounge is where my PowerPoint is. And I have phone cords and laptop chargers, but they go so far down. So you can stick them on the wall behind the lounge and it just magnetizes your cord into it so that it's just organized, neat, tidy. They don't get messed up. It's the easiest thing. You can stick them next to your bed or work, on your desk, in your car. They're just an adhesive that stick anywhere and holds all different kinds of cords.
I feel like we're going to need a very specific link for this because unless someone's seen it, they're all like cords and stick on and walls.
No, that's what I mean. That's when I said it doesn't actually like have a name, but it's on Amazon. If you just Google Amazon phone cord holder, you'll see them and they come in packs of 6 and 10 or whatever, and it's just an organizational tool. Exactly, Keish, that's it. You just Google that's it. These little stick-on adhesive things.
Amazing. Well, I mean, we'll still put a link in the show notes.
Of course we put a
as we
link.
do every week, we'll find one. I have a recommendation for any mums to be, or if you have a newborn baby, and it's because
You're having a baby.
Yeah, but also, and I'm not joking. I know I said this last week. We're now 8 weeks away, or like 8.5, counting down. And we still don't have anything. We've organized nothing. Like, I don't have a single thing. And now it's become like, you know that episode of Hamish and Andy where they kept driving with the petrol in the car to see how long they could push it? I feel like I'm that person with this baby.
But also it's because you've done it. I don't think many people would do that on the first time. Because it's like now
3.
you're like, I know it'll be fine no matter what happens.
Poppy's going in a drawer and she's wearing size 4. Like,
yeah,
it's
wrap her
fine.
in some Glad wrap. She's like,
Oversize is in.
yeah.
No, look, I gave mine of these away and I put together a little list of all the things that I know are absolute essentials because you end up with so much stuff that you don't use when you are having a baby, and you often buy a lot of things that you don't use as well, especially when it's your first and your second, because you think, especially your first, I should say.
I'm going to dress it in cute clothes and berets all the time.
Totally. So like I've really like kind of like stripped down my list, and one of the things was at the very top, and it is what Lola absolutely lived in for the first 6 weeks of her life. It's called a baby wrap. So the brand that I love, it's Chekoh or Chekoh. I don't know how to say it. It's Chekoh, and they're like a long piece of fabric, stretchy fabric. So instead of having a baby in a carrier, you wear your baby. So you wrap it all around them. It's very Byron Bay mums if you've ever seen them. But for me, I found it so comfortable. Lola would sleep in it all day long. Like that was the only thing she would sleep in. And they have really nice colors and they're really nice fabrics. They're such good quality. The ones I had when Lola was born, I gave them to a girlfriend and they have now been passed on to 2 more babies since. So, and they're still in circulation somewhere. I wish they'd come back to me. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, that's a good vibe.
So yeah, it's great. I really love them. I've got a couple of them on my list at the moment.
My vibe this week is possibly my favorite biopic or doco that I've ever watched. It's the one by Mariska Hargitay. It only came out, I think, 2 weeks ago, and I watched this on HBO Max, and it's called My Mom Jayne. So Mariska Hargitay, if you're trying to place the face, she plays Olivia Benson in Law and Order SVU. She's been on the show for
I love her.
2 decades, and I had no idea about this. Her mum, Jane Mansfield, was a huge Hollywood star, like Marilyn Monroe-esque vibe, and she was only a couple of years after Marilyn Monroe, and she was incredibly famous and very, very well loved, but she was quite a complicated person, and she was this sex symbol, but she kind of played the dumb blonde role for so long, but she wanted to be a serious actress, and she kind of tried to get the public to take her more seriously, and they almost like rejected that side of her. And, you know, it's interesting to look back on kind of the cultural times, now looking at it with the 2025 lens. Anyway, she ended up having 3 husbands and 5 children and quite complicated relationships with some of those husbands. But Mariska actually lost her mum, Jane, when her mum was only 34. It was in 1967, and it was in a car accident. And Mariska and 2 of her brothers were in the car at the time.
Oh, wow.
And there's a really interesting thing that comes out from her brother, in that the brothers were taken to hospital, and when one of them woke up, he was like, "Where's my sister?" And they had to go back to the car wreck, and Mariska was actually trapped underneath one of the seats. She was alive.
Oh my God.
Goosebump kind of stuff. And then there's a whole other twist about 2/3 of the way in, where, and there's, you know, I'm not giving anything away because there's a lot of reporting about this now, but Mariska kept it a secret for 30 years that her father wasn't actually her biological father. She found out when she was an adult, and her biological father joins the documentary as well. Absolutely fascinating. One of the most interesting stories, because it's kind of 2 people's stories. There's like this underlying theme of Mariska searching for her identity in her mum, and also has a lot to do with like her name. Her name on her birth certificate is actually Maria, and it wasn't kind of changed until later in her life. And like, it's just absolutely fascinating. I loved this documentary so much. I tried to watch it all in one night, but it got too late, and it was the first thing that I put on as soon as I woke up. So I watched it on HBO Max, which is a new streaming service that we've signed up for, like as if we need another.
Adds to the list,
Yeah, but I did have a look online, and apparently you can get it on Apple TV in Australia as well. So I cannot recommend it more. My Mum Jane by Mariska Hargitay.
Oh my God, sounds like a great one.
Interesting.
All right, well, let's get into your questions.
Question number 1. Help a girl out. This is one of the most awkward moments of my life. I'm 25 and quite close with my dad. My dad is gay, and he has been all my life. It's a long story.
Is it?
Is it?
He might have been gay his whole life too. Who knows?
Yeah, I would assume so. Anyway, I've just hopped in the back of his car because we're going to visit my sick grandma in the hospital, and there is a sex toy in the back seat. I'm talking black anal beads and butt plugs, that kind of a vibe. Do I ask him what it is? Do I mention it and talk about it? Do I pretend I never saw it? Do I kick it under the front seat so he's not embarrassed with it laying out in plain sight and knows that I saw it? Help a scarred girl out.
I love that you've obviously written this in real time. Like, I'm imagining you sitting in the back seat,
SOS.
looking at the anal beads, and you're like, fuck, give me instant help. Sorry, this has probably come a little bit late, so you probably have figured out what to do. And I would say, if you're wearing closed shoes, kick that thing under the seat and pretend you didn't see it. There is no need at all to speak to your dad about his sex toys. You do not have to have that conversation.
Dad, can I just have a quick chat? Look, I just need to talk about the anal beats. What are you going to talk about? How have you been using them? Who with?
I think sometimes we're too open. Like, we're too open with our parents. It's great. Like, I'm like all for him.
But
Go
also
off,
he
queen.
doesn't. Sometimes it's better to plead ignorance. Plead
Absolutely.
the fifth. It never happened. You don't know what. Hey, let's say they're rosemary beads. They went around his neck. He's religious. In fact, not anal beads. Let's go with that and take that to the grave. Pretend it didn't happen. Don't kick him too far into the sea because the poor guy needs them. Like, he doesn't want to lose them. But you don't like. That's just not something you talk out. Unless you've walked in, actually, no, not even unless. I was going to say, unless you've walked in face to face, you look down in between your anal beads and you have to mention it. But even then, maybe don't.
Even then, I reckon you can still get away with not saying anything.
Going to church, Dad? See there? Yeah, nah, this is just an easy one. I don't even think we need to unpack it.
There's no need. I'm in full agreement. Have you ever found something
Dad's
totally...
never shown me his anal beads.
He hasn't?
No.
Have you ever found anything totally inappropriate of your parents before?
Keisha's nodding.
I have.
It's different.
I don't want to talk about it.
What did you find, Keishia?
Poor mum. I wonder if she'll ever hear this. Once I found a toy of hers by accident.
Oh, you only found one? I found a whole bag of dicks. I found
You
a
found
whole bag.
bag?
Just a bag of dildos. Yeah, just under the bed. My fault. I was searching. I don't know what for. I think Christmas presents.
Christmas
I
came early.
found a sack and it wasn't one that had any presents for me in it.
My parents are just gold. I've not found anything. I'm sure they were there, but they just protected us.
Nah, they're just better at hiding it. I think my mum just had it. They were more easy assets. Poor woman. She was single. Leave her alone.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so was mine.
We are leaving her alone.
Do you know what,
We're
though?
like, yeah, it's great. You're like, let's back off.
Vibrators back in the day.
They're about this big.
Vibrators back in the day were so hectic because like now they're cute. They're purple. They're little bunnies.
No, they're a
Ugh.
big penis.
Yeah, but back in the day they were visceral, real, veiny penises.
Yeah,
and
they
like
jelly-like.
well,
No, they had it was like they molded it off a dick.
Yeah.
They had like foreskins and veins and like they were huge and they were like
vibrators or dildos of the 80s were just like they were not cool. I don't know who did the marketing for that. It was obviously made by men. And they were like, this is what women want. Women want to have sex with a big, veiny, awful looking penis.
They wanted to look
And
realistic.
I remember how confronting it was as a kid because at the time I didn't know what they were. And I was like, what on earth? There's just a bag of penises under the bed.
Do you know what you've just reminded me of? And it's got nothing to do with dicks. But when you're saying like it was a different time back then, I think about my parents' night of their wedding. This is what they did. Well, obviously they did stuff. That's not what I'm going to talk about. They got a hotel and it was just of the time. Their hotel bed, it was like a game. Like you put 20 cents in the machine of the bed and the bed would vibrate around in a circle. And on their wedding night, they put the money in this hotel and it got stuck on. So the whole night they just vibrated away. I just like never forget that story. So, but can you just imagine the time? Like that's where you've gone for your honeymoon and your bed vibrates.
I didn't even know that there were beds that did that.
It feels very 80s as well.
It is so 80s.
It's like water beds and vibrating beds.
They had a
Very
water
80s.
bed.
Of course they did.
And so did my brother. Everyone had this water.
Look, rounding this question out.
Hang on one thing. If no one's ever had a waterbed, you used to have to put the hose through the window into your room and fill it. That's what we had to do. You have to take the fly screen out. People have no idea the time that we lived in, all the youngins listening.
But also waterbeds were so unsupportive and so uncomfortable.
I know,
Like,
and
they made no sense.
when you're asleep and your partner gets in to the other side, you're like wobble up and down. I have so many funny memories. Okay, continue on.
All right, well, I'm just going to round it out. It's great that you have a really open relationship with your dad. You don't need to talk. You don't need to talk about this with him. The end. Okay. Question number 2. Is it common practice for people who are receiving gifts to open them while the gift giver is present? I've been to both a baby shower and a kid's birthday recently where I brought a gift, but to my disappointment, the gifts were not opened during the event, but taken away to be opened at a later time. As a gift giver, I think it's nice to see the receiver open my gift, mainly to see if they like it or not. When you put time and energy into picking the perfect gift, I feel like it's a bit anticlimactic to not actually see them open it and hopefully enjoy it. Am I wrong in thinking this is strange to not open gifts at the event in front of the givers?
This is so funny. I think it depends. You've said it's a baby shower. I think it depends on the situation, like the party that you're at, in terms of like, is it a huge party with 50 people? No one wants to go to a party and sit around and watch someone open presents. So I understand why they're like, thank you so much. I'll open that later. But I also understand why you want to watch them open the gift. But I think that's more to fill your cup. Like you're wanting something from that. You're wanting the satisfaction, which I understand. Like you're stoked about it. I get it. But I wouldn't say it's a strange, out of the ordinary thing to not open a gift in front of you. Like,
I also think as a parent, from a kid's birthday party perspective, there is nothing more annoying when you go to a kid's birthday party and one kid is opening up all these. Obviously, it's their birthday. They're allowed to. They're entitled to.
nah, lock it
And
down.
then every other kid's like crying because they're like, but I didn't get any presents, not my birthday. Like, especially when they're little, it's really hard for them to comprehend why especially they have siblings, like, I understand maybe that's the resilience building we need to give for our kids, but I don't do that. They get all their presents, I put them to the side, and then once everyone's left, what I do is I ration them. I pick out like 6 presents or 4 presents, and I'll be like, cool, they're the ones they can open. The rest of them go in the cupboard.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's too many presents.
And sell them, make some money.
I put them on Marketplace.
Marketplace, yeah.
No.
Never been used, still wrapped.
I bring them out whenever there's like a reason why they should get a present for something. Like if they've like, really been great that weekend or clean their room or something like that, or I need an activity, I'll bring a present out. But the amount of stuff that kids get at kids' birthday parties.
Yeah, but then I'd be devoted if I, like on the other end, if I got somebody a present, like a child a present or something, and then their parent was like, oh, I'll give it to me in like 2 years. I'll save that one. I'd be like, hey.
Do you?
Yeah, I would be. I'd be like, open it, bitch, or I won't give you money.
I do open it so I know what's in it, but like then I wrap it back up so that Marley can open it.
You're selective.
Well, because like I just maybe other parents are not going to agree with this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this one might ruffle some.
I do the same.
feathers.
I do the same on Christmas. So like Christmas,
Right,
whatever.
let's never buy more a present again.
No, because I think that the problem with getting too many gifts when you're a little kid, especially because our kids are still small, is that they are so overwhelmed by the volume that they pay no attention to any of them. So they don't
appreciate it as much.
Yeah, it's no longer about the gifts. It's no longer about like, oh my God, that's that toy I really wanted and I'm going to go play with that now.
It's how many can I open?
Yeah, what's next? What's next? And they're just ripping things open. They're not even looking at them. And then they get to the end and they're like, is that it? Like there's a level of ungratefulness that happens. So we ration presents when there's too many of them for that reason. Because I'm like, there's never going to be a world where a 4-year-old can play with that many toys in a short space of time. So stuff just gets forgotten about. So that's kind of why we do it. But maybe that isn't the most thoughtful thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I think there'll be people on both sides.
I'm trying to raise not shit kids.
No, I actually
I'm doing my best.
I actually understand it, but maybe just don't buy them that many then.
Well, it's not us. It's people give them. I'm not buying the presents.
It's Falcon.
It's fucking Falcon.
Talking to you, Falcon.
Falcon, for anyone who doesn't know, is like one of our best friends. He's the best uncle ever, but he is like the most elite gift giver.
He won't come over even for dinner or a visit without bringing presents. It's too much. Falcon, I know you're listening. Wind it back.
Stop it.
You're making the rest of us look bad. You're making me and Keeshia look bad.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's rude to not open it. I don't know. I'm not someone who needs to sit through a gift opening procession. I think it's fine if you want to open them in your own time and send a nice thank you note. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Let that one slide. Okay, this one I think it's important we unpack it, but it has a lot of layers to it. Some quite problematic that I'm just wondering maybe the listener hasn't thought of yet. I'm 29. I've been with my husband for over 6 years and we have 2 gorgeous sons, 4 and 2. I've been feeling like we're roommates rather than partners for a long time now. We rarely have sex, we don't communicate very well, and I just feel really lonely. Earlier this week, I had an appointment with my GP. He's a 53-year-old man who has been our doctor for 5 years. It was a long appointment and we shared and cried over our joint experiences of losing our daughters in very traumatic circumstances. They passed away on the same day, 5 years apart, and Monday was their anniversary. So sad.
Yeah.
At the end of the appointment, we hugged for a very long time and there was a moment and we ended up kissing. Nothing hot and heavy, but it was really nice. Now I can't stop thinking about him and that kiss. He is divorced and has been such a source of comfort for me during some really dark times. And he says the same about me. What was the kiss? Is it just because we're both lonely and we're emotional on our daughter's anniversaries, or is it more than that? Please help.
I feel like the kiss is completely inappropriate to me. There's many layers, but that doctor-patient relationship in that environment, for him to have ended it that way is just a completely inappropriate thing. It would be almost akin to going and seeing a psychologist or a therapist and talking to them about what has happened to you and sharing those stories and then having them kiss you. Do you know what I mean? Like there's such a level of a patient-doctor breach here.
It's like going to a gynecologist and they finger you.
It's not the same.
No, it is. It's like you're in the situation and you take it
so
non-consensual and you take it too far. You're in a situation and they take it too far.
No,
it's
Britt,
wrong.
it's really different.
Very similar. Giving very similar.
Firstly, before we like take this down, and I don't want to take it down a funny route, I really want to say like I'm so sorry that you're going through this. That is an awful thing that you've had to even deal with the fact that you've lost a child. I cannot comprehend. And then the fact that he has also lost a child, like that is a huge,
horrific.
it's a huge amount of grief. It is an incomprehensible loss that none of us sitting here could ever understand.
But
And
I would
so-
imagine you would never, ever be able to get over. And I think you'd find it really hard to find someone that you relate to.
One part of this story that we don't know the details for is you said you lost your daughter in a very traumatic circumstance. I wonder whether this is your daughter with your husband that you're now with. Was it a past relationship? Like, we don't know those details. And I guess like my reaction to that is, you know, I don't know. I kind of wish that we had the information as to whether it was your husband's child as well, like whether you've shared that trauma together, or whether the reason why you feel this closeness to this man is because he shares a very similar feeling that your now partner has not experienced. Do you know what I mean? It could be from a past relationship.
I'm not sure how much it matters, to be honest, because grief affects people differently, whether you're in the relationship or not. Like, a lot of people have spoken about the fact that their relationships don't survive something like a loss of a child because even though they've both experienced the same thing, the way they experience it is
so
different.
It's actually one of the biggest statistics.
Yeah, and it drives them apart. Sometimes they build resentment. Sometimes they can't understand. You grieve / move on / grow at different rates. So I don't know how much that comes into it. And as Laura said, like, we could not even begin to imagine. We can try and imagine. The loss of a child is something that no parent should go through. And so I don't think you will ever get over that. I'm sure time helps, but I don't think it's something that any parent ever moves on from. We don't know enough about you and this doctor, but what I do think is he's only been your GP. I would very much say you are trauma bonding, and I would say there is a misuse of his power in this situation. He probably wants the comfort just as much, but the setting and the timing and everything about this is wrong. That's not to say that you guys might not have real feelings for each other in some way, but I would imagine that you're in a long-term relationship with 2 kids, and you said your youngest is 2, your oldest is 4, and you've lost a child and you feel lonely in that relationship. I'm not surprised you feel lonely in that relationship. Like, you are still in the depths of newborns and like trying to figure your life out. And Laura, you've said so many times that it takes 2 to 3 years to try and get your relationship back on track when you have a kid, because your whole focus is on making sure these kids are alive, and you lose your identity for a little bit. I'm not surprised you feel like that with your husband, but personally, from the information you've given me, I would not be leaning too far into what this kiss means. I think it was a very emotionally driven moment. You have felt understood by somebody. You felt emotionally connected to somebody, which are 2 very powerful things, especially if you haven't been getting those at home. I would want to say if your relationship at home is otherwise good, I'd be going back to focus on that and try and work on that.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, Britt. I think it's really inappropriate that the GP kissed you. Like, I really do. You know, and the fact that you have been going to him for 5 years, there's been this rapport that's obviously been built. You've obviously spoken about your shared grief together. I think it's incredibly unprofessional. It's not, I don't think. It is incredibly unprofessional of him that he has not set better boundaries around this. Like, look, in a different time, in a different world, maybe this could be something that could have been, you know, a conversation or a date or a relationship. But you're married and you have 2 kids, and you hadn't entertained these ideas or thoughts until you had a very intense doctor's consultation that literally should never have happened. And then I feel like he also, and I don't want to say he took advantage of it, because it does sound like he's also in this like very emotionally grieving moment, and it was probably a moment of vulnerability between the 2 of you. But I definitely don't think that you should be putting your focus and your energy now into this doctor over trying to fix your relationship and your marriage with your husband. And
It's so inappropriate.
yeah, I just think,
just to give like a bit of how inappropriate, like, he could potentially lose his license if this came out. If it was reported to APRA, he would at least be suspended and investigated. It is so inappropriate to be having a kiss with one of your patients. It's actually inappropriate to hug.
I remember a doctor that I worked with, he lost his license, got suspended because he had a patient and they hit it off, they vibed, nothing happened, but he got her number off details on the system and then followed up with us. So this is, in a way, a different level of inappropriateness, but there was no sexual connection, nothing inappropriate at the work. But just by getting her number, he got the sack. So like, this is very serious that this man in his consult room, as your GP, a trusted medical professional for 5 years, is kissing you.
Yeah, during your appointment.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. But I think the only reason that we are all not going down so hard on him for
It's because it's
almost
consensual.
like preying on you. Yes, it's consensual, but also he's obviously gone through something really, really awful as well and is in a vulnerable position himself. I think that's the only reason that we have a bit of grace for him, because he's lost a child too,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
There's also people that are in the discussion group on Facebook, if you guys want to, if you're not a member, go and join, but that have said, questioned if maybe he has made this up to connect with you and maybe he's more of a predator and stuff like that. But I think that's a push. I highly
You'd have to be
doubt
a monster.
you would have
yeah.
to be like a whole nother level to have done that. So I don't think that's it at all. I just think you're both trauma bonding at the end of the day.
I totally agree. Also, reading the rest, reading the full question. This is a doctor you've been seeing for 5 years. That's a real long game of someone trying to emotionally manipulate you just to get a kiss at an appointment. Do you know what I mean? For me, I'm like, that's not feasible.
No.
I think it is very coincidental that you have both experienced a shared catastrophic grief, and that there's something in that makes you feel seen and validated and understood and all of those incredibly complex emotions. You ask the question, what was this kiss? I think the kiss is grief. I think the kiss is shared emotions of feeling understood, as I said. And you wrote, is it because we're both lonely and we're emotional over our daughter's anniversaries?
Yeah.
Probably. I think you've answered the question. Do I think you're in love with your GP? Absolutely not, because you've never entertained these thoughts prior. That has happened, and now that sparked some chemistry in you, which is understandable. It's confusing, but I think the more energy and time you put into it, the more that you're going to be confused and have these conflicting feelings. You need to refocus that energy into your relationship, your husband, and maybe have some conversations with him around how you're feeling disconnected, how you're feeling lonely, how you want to prioritize your relationship again, and also maybe go and speak to, I'm sure you've probably had grief counseling, but go and speak to a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist around ways that you can reconnect with your partner after going through something that was so, so tragic.
Yeah, I truly think this is just situational comfort. You had a really long appointment with him where you were both crying and upset, and all you ever want in that feeling is to be comforted and connected. It's human nature. It's not you. That's not a wrong feeling. I personally think that you need to not go back to him again, because if something has happened now, your relationship with him has forever changed. You can never go back to him as just a GP now. And I think it's good to put some distance between that. You've said the two big problems in your relationship are rarely having sex and you don't communicate well. They are two things that are very easy to work on. So you're lucky. You're not in a relationship where previously before this moment where there's been any infidelity or anything. They're two things that are A, normal, and B, very fixable. A lot of people don't get back into normal sex after, it's only been 2 years.
Yeah, you got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And the death of a child. That's normal, and you'll find your groove back there, but you do need to work on it. And the communication, both of you can communicate better. Easy. You literally just need to sit down and talk to him and say, I want to be able to talk to you more. What can we do? So that's what I would be saying. I would say don't read too much into it. And I'm really sorry you're going through this. And there's no blame on you. We're not putting anything on you that says you shouldn't have done it or you've done the wrong thing. We absolutely feel for you. I just think that can't be your GP anymore, personally.
Yeah, absolutely agree. All right, question number 4. Am I unreasonable for not wanting my husband to go to a friend's funeral? From the title, I'm going to say yes, but let's read it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm being unreasonable with how I'm feeling about this. So my partner works FIFO 2 weeks away, 1 week back, and we have a 4-month-old baby. He got some news about an old friend of his who suddenly passed away, who lived interstate, so would need to travel for the funeral. I don't know this friend, but he apparently played a large role in his life back when he was younger. The funeral is the day after he gets back. So now instead of coming home, he's got to come back, pack, and fly away again for a few days. I feel so incredibly upset with this decision. I understand the importance of this friend and I get that he wants to say goodbye, but I feel like given the circumstances, it isn't just as easy as him jumping on a plane and going. Am I wrong to feel this way? Maybe I'm just being hormonal. I don't know. Please don't get me wrong. I absolutely love being a mum. I wouldn't change it for the world. I just feel like I count down the days for him to get home so that we can have some time together as a family. And I can also get a little bit of a break or time to myself. It's not like I get to just jump on a plane for a few days whenever I want. Not that money is an issue, but it's also costing over $1,000 for these flights as they are last minute. Thoughts?
Oh, I want to say I need more information to give you a proper answer. And the reason I say that is it's not going to end well if you tell him he can't go to his friend's funeral. Like if he has said to you, this was an important person that I feel the need to go and say goodbye to, I understand how much you're looking forward to seeing him, and you're fly in, fly out, so you don't see him for weeks at a time or whatever it is, and you've got the stress of a baby. So I totally get why you want him to come home, but it's going to build a lot of resentment if you say you're not going to say goodbye to a friend that died. The reason I am on the fence with saying I need to know more information is if you know deep down, or you have this weird feeling that in fact it's just an excuse for him to be away, if he's not a great partner and doesn't often show up, and you feel like, do you know what? I've never heard you speak about him. You don't know him for 20 years. You're always trying to find excuses. But that's something that you need to ask yourself, what kind of a partner is he? Because we don't know that. But from the outset of this question, yeah, you're going to have to let him go to the funeral.
Yeah, I would say if your partner's a great partner and he shows up in every other way and he's saying that he wants to go to this funeral, I understand when you have a 4-month-old baby that feels super overwhelming and you are so looking forward to this. But this is a situation that's also out of his control. And sometimes funerals are not always just about the relationship with the person that's passed away. It's also about the relationship with the people who are grieving. So if this person was a huge part of his life and maybe he hasn't seen them for 5 years or 7 years or whatever that looks like, that could also still be someone who was incredibly close to all of his best friends. I don't know what that situation looks like. I think the way that you probably need to look at this is that, yes, it is a sacrifice, and yes, there is the expectation that you're not going to see him, but it's probably going to be 3 days or 2 days. And that's a really small time window when you think about it in comparison to the rest of your life as parents together. And I don't know, it's so hard because I know what it's like being in those early trenches of motherhood, but I don't think that it is fair for you to say you don't want him to go to a friend's funeral if he is telling you that this is an important thing for him to do. You can obviously express to him that it's really, you really have been looking forward to him coming home. You're counting down the days and that you're feeling a bit overwhelmed in this period. But ultimately, if he really thinks it's something that he needs to do, and he isn't using it as an excuse, and you know that because you know your husband and you know that he shows up in every other way, then I would say it's unreasonable to not let him go and do that.
Yeah, and it's very easy to make it so much more superficial and say, well, do you know what? They're gone, they're dead, you're not going to see them, whereas we're here and we need you. Can you not say goodbye yourself from here? And it's very easy to sort of top shelf that. But everyone grieves differently and everyone needs different things. And like you said, Laws, you don't know what their connection was, what the friends and family relationship was, what he did in that life. But I understand why it's hard for you to fathom when you're old friend when they were younger. I've never heard of him. I don't know. I understand where you're cool. I get if it was maybe someone more close, but if you're making a choice between your 4-month-old me and helping me out and saying goodbye to someone you haven't seen in 20 years, I understand why that is upsetting. I do want to validate that because I would probably be upset too. I'd probably be I'm struggling and I'm here. I'm here now and I'm your wife and I really need you. But I also don't know how much you're struggling or how much you were just looking forward to the family time. There are so many variables and people need different things in grief. It's a tricky one to answer. I think it just has to come back to what we've both said already. You know your partner. Is he using it as an excuse to have more time away? Or do you know deep down that he really needs to go and do this and he wouldn't ever be away from you guys if he didn't have to be? There's your answer. But if he's told you it's important and he needs to go, you think you need to let it happen?
Yeah, and I guess also the last part of it is you don't really have a choice. You can't tell him he can't. You can't control.
You can, it just won't go down well.
Yeah, but you can't control your partner. You can say, I don't want you to go. But if they say this is really important to me and I'm going, what are you going to do? What's the consequence or the ultimatum here? You're going to be so angry. You're going to throw you're going to have a huge argument. What is the outcome or the consequence for him going? He's not saying he's going to go on a boys' weekend. He's going to a funeral. And maybe,
But maybe it turns into a boys' weekend,
But maybe he can make it the shortest version. Okay, cool. If it's, let's say you live in Sydney and it's in Queensland, you fly there for the funeral, you fly home. There are sacrifices he can make to make it the shortest amount of time possible so that what he is going for is the funeral and he isn't going there for the socializing aspect around it. Of course, he can go to the wake. I'm not saying just go to the funeral and go home. But I think that there is a conversation that can be made around the sacrifices you are both making, and you both can meet in a happy place here.
Yeah.
You can't tell your partner what they can and can't do.
And at the end of the day, unless it's like East Coast to West Coast, every flight's in around Australia interstate is like 2 hours max.
3 hours.
There's probably really no reason that he couldn't come back the same day. I'm not saying he has to do that or one night. I don't think you're saying he's packing for a few days. That sounds like there's going to be a bit of a meet up with people and a bit more of a boys club or friends club, which, you know, that's the happy medium. He can go to the funeral and then he's got to come back to his responsibilities, which is his 4-month-old child and his, you know, and you.
Totally.
So,
yeah. And I think that they're the variables that you need to kind of nut out. Anyway, guys.
Tough.
That's it. If you've got questions for us, slide on into the DMs at Life Uncut Podcast on Instagram, where you can send us all of your Ask Uncut questions. Or some of these have been discussed in the discussion group on Facebook, which is where we got the one around the doctor and, you know, that's happening. So you can join the discussion group as well, which is Life Uncut Discussion Group, and all the good stuff goes down there.
Don't forget, guys, everything goes on YouTube now. So Ask Uncuts are like the fan favorite on YouTube because you can put them on the big screen and watch it play out live and have the chat with your flatmates or your friends or your partner and see how you would handle that situation. So please go hit subscribe and give that a watch. And remember, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your dog, tell your friends, and share the love because
we love love.